Welcome, everyone, to San Antonio by Night Aftermath. And this is the session 0 of our new chronicle. The the players that I have all created their characters for this campaign, this chronicle. And so I would like each of you to introduce yourselves and the character you'll be playing in this chronicle. Let's start with Moxiepox.
How do I put her? A grumpy person. Very grumpy.
Yep, I realized that for half of what you just said, Mox, I didn't have you unmuted. Oops.
Oh
I'm a
no!
professional streamer. It'll get
We're all
better from
professionals
here.
here.
Yes, we are.
But yes, hi.
And give us an idea what channel you're from.
I'm actually from Gathering of Nerds here on Twitch.
Nice. Lethality Complex.
Yes, that is I. I am Lethality Complex, and tonight I will be playing Noel Stoneford. Or, if you may also hear, Khalid Aden Al Samt. I suppose an enigma is the best way to describe Noel, for the time being at the very least, although who he is in particular and what his intentions are will become clear relatively quickly, I imagine. I am also from Gathering of Nerds, and specifically, I run Brisbane by Night River City Secrets as its ST. So if you're ever looking for a down under a representation of what down under vampires are like, you can definitely find it there.
Nice. And we also have Macabre Derek.
Hey everybody, as was just introduced, my name is Macabre Derek. I will be playing Maria Higgs, a fledgling Zamitzi, a remnant of the small Sabbat incursion that ended up happening in the earlier portions of San Antonio by Night. You'll also happen to know me for playing Vampire the Masquerade in Detroit by Night every Sunday at 7:30 Central Standard Time, where I end up serving as the ST. You'll also end up knowing me from, well, the VTM Workshop, which happens directly after Detroit. So for anybody looking to end up learning the game or learning the lore, or maybe you're just kind of a little bit curious and have some questions, that's the place to end up getting them answered as we end up discussing the nature of the world of darkness. As well, we end up having Drawing on the Macabre every Thursday. So if you want to end up hanging around late evening for some particularly grisly encounters in the world of art and horror, well, I'm the person to look up. You can find me at Twitch TV slash Macabre Derek, and I hope to end up seeing you all as I drag you into a world depraved and horrific, getting the pulse up just a little bit more.
Fantastic. And last but not least, Spectre Deflector.
Ahoy! I'm Spectre Deflector. I will be playing the Ventru known as Faustus Alexander Beaufort, or just simply Faust. Faust is a refugee coming from Dallas due to the recent purges enacted by Prince Warsi. For me as a person, if you ever want to find more of me, you can find me here on Twitch, Twitch TV /Spectre Deflector. I mostly do art and will be assisting with creating tokens for our stream here. So if you ever want to gather a commission, feel free, hit me up.
All right. Fantastic. So, with this coterie of 4 characters, we will be doing a little bit of a session 0 in that we do still need to work out the creation of the coterie for this particular group as far as mechanics go. Um, the characters themselves have all been created. We just need to finish up what it is that they're going to be doing as far as the style of coterie, as well as what they're going to be spending their individual dots that they will be adding to this coterie. So, the characters that you see before you are Gangrel, Banu Hakim, Zimitzi, and Ventru. And so, I suppose the next question is, what do you all intend to do as a coterie when you come together?
Well, I figured then I'm looking here at a very unusual pick. Banu Hakim isn't particularly found in Anarch cities. Neither are Ventru for the most part, though there is some points to be said about the Ventru Baron, which we all end up adoring. But so we already have 2 outsider clans by default. We haven't run into a whole lot of gangrels, kind of making Ahure the odd woman out. And we have Zamitsi in Maria, so I almost personally feel like this is kind of where the outsiders of the outsider trope. Kind of taken this, I don't know, we're kind of there here, mostly to be kept an eye on, but our own presence causes kind of a problem. I don't know. Anybody else getting that vibe from this particular clan set?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
We kind of have this merit. Go ahead, Lethality. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, we present ourselves as a problem due to the fact that we are all a mixture of outsider clans and those who, in some cases, their very nature would stand against what the Anarch movement stands for, but in the same time, the particular mix of talents and vampiric gifts, especially those that are exceptionally unique, referring to the sorcery, the blood sorcery found in the Banu Hakim, and the flesh shaping of vicissitude found within the Zimitzi, although whether Maria has it or not remains to be seen, would mean that we're indispensable as assets, but our very presence causes waves that our contemporaries would call tumultuous.
I like the fact that being outsiders, we kind of have this reputation already established for us. We're known as interlopers, more or less. Disturbing and otherwise what would have been a peace in San Antonio. And already San Antonio possessing quite the history. A lot of us are former players from the first Chronicle.
Mm-hmm.
That in of itself, we know the history. We understand what happened, what all went down. I think it's kind of fun that we have that prior knowledge and get to see the effects, as well as get to see how that affects the city's reflection and ideas of us.
Yes.
The Camarilla invasion from the previous Chronicle was led by a Ventru. There, in the previous Chronicle, there were themes of possible Sabbat invasion. Maybe a pack or of some sorts. There's overall, and then let me think. In general, I think Ahure is probably the most fit as a gangrel, but even then, she's from a distant city, a very, very distant land.
Mm-hmm.
An entirely different country.
Entirely different continent.
It's not it's not unheard of that gangrel are travelers, but that's quite a distance.
Mm-hmm.
And even more
Exactly.
so from a Camarilla city.
Yes.
Further away.
There's some
Remember?
interesting relationships that are already forming about this coterie, and all of you will bear witness to that as we continue to present this story. So what what do you say the theme of your coterie is at this moment? Is that are they more looking to find their place in in San Antonio? Is that are we more or
Find
less
it.
creating a custom coterie for for that regard?
Find it is a funny word. I think the way this is pointing is it's more like we're gonna just fucking take it.
Yes,
Or aren't
no
we
matter
just a
what.
little group of? Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, no matter who it is that we become or what it is that we do, as far as those who have things to say are concerned, there probably won't be a proper place in the city for people like us. Because of course, to do that would to make a concession that some people would that some of them would consider to be a mortal mistake. So instead of Faust has it right. Instead of finding our place, we're just gonna have to take it because they ain't gonna give it to us.
Derek had an idea, and I like it.
I love it. Straight up.
You're just good at making names, my guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, aren't we just a interesting little set of iconoclasts?
Clasts. Yeah.
The Iconoclasts. I
Well,
like
it
it.
seems to be in one way or another. Either we are bending, in some way, bending the anarch form, or we are bending our own form to suit the anarchs. But in one way, we're not a perfect fit. Something's going to be broken. Something needs to bend.
I like it. I like it. So the coterie is called the Iconoclast.
I like how my brain immediately went to something's gotta give. Something's gotta give.
Exactly. Exactly.
My brain
The
went
body.
somewhere else.
Oh,
Like, I love me some drowning pool and I love bodies, but no, I posted in our secret squirrel RA chat what came to mind.
we're musical people.
We are. We are. And Twitch will mute us if we have anything to do with anything copyrighted. But know that we are definitely musical people. In that case, each individual has one dot to add to the coterie as far as chase, lane, and portalon. And you can donate any of your existing backgrounds to the coterie for dots to spend on the coterie in as far as backgrounds go. So where do you wish as a coterie to spend your individual dots on the coterie? Is it going to be in any of those things to improve the domain, or is it going to be strictly background stuff?
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I almost want to keep it as minimal as possible. Just to literally start with nothing, like much into the theme, right? We were given nothing. We gotta find ways to find our niche and find the little cracks where we can end up building our own, which I think will suit Faust very well, as well as Noel. So I almost want to say what we need, or what I'm tempted to put it in, is dot maybe into Mala.
Okay.
I,
That's a
I know we
thought.
were talking about this beforehand, but I figured just after us discussing right now,
Hmm.
I wanted to throw that one out to you guys. If that is the route you guys think we should take.
You are squatting in Marjani Kalu's domain, and Marjani is a known boxer and uh, and has a little portion of her domain set aside for her child, as well as now this little portion of domain for you all to feed on. So
It's
you're
all
basically creating what it is that the neighborhood in which you feed.
It was almost suggested that Marjani was our keeper,
Yeah,
appointed to us by Jameson, wasn't it?
Correct.
yeah.
Hmm.
Doesn't mean she has to serve as a mola to you, but it could be.
Hmm.
Well,
Or somebody else who's taken interest in you.
um, hmm. I'm open to suggestions right now. I don't want to guide the whole thing right now.
Right. That's a thought though, is to put one in mola.
There was another
One in
thought that was
Mala.
presented earlier as well. One dot of influence. We're granted a respectful hearing. They may not like that we're there, but we're there.
Influence
That
on the
is,
east side, or
Yeah, why not?
yeah, influence on the east side of the city, and it would make sense that whilst the coterie has nothing in terms of domain per se,
Hmm.
that there's got to be some reason that that Marjani even allowed us to camp on this little spot in the first place.
Right.
Someone pulled some strings.
probably Faust.
Most likely Faust.
Hopefully.
Hmm.
Hopefully I can pull some strings. Um, hmm.
So
Any other thoughts, such as the coterie basics, or are we talking more backgrounds?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, one thing we will potentially need. We may not have a domain, but I think having a shared haven might be beneficial to us.
I could agree with that.
Agreed.
yeah, definitely agreed there.
It could simply be, just a house or something, a small.
All right. Well, for sake of argument, I will offer up 1 dot of the influence on the east side to do that, and
Okay.
I will also sacrifice 1 dot in security, bringing me down to 1, to start the first dot in Haven.
Okay.
Because I do like that idea. It means that we're all kind of in or can get to a centralized location to start.
Right.
All right.
Oops, sorry. I'll let you go first.
Oh, I was gonna say, I am totally fine with putting in a dot towards Haven. Do we have to put in a separate dot for Haven versus additions to the Haven? So like 1 dot Haven and then 1 dot security.
Yes,
Yeah,
it would be separate
you
dots.
need 2 dots in Haven before you can start doing that.
All right, and Derek, you put in influence and security.
And I specifically gave up a dot to do that.
Yeah.
Alright.
So Maria has reduced her total dots in backgrounds to 6, and spent 2 dots, one in influence and one in shared haven.
Okay, then I will put a dot towards Haven.
Okay.
There was a contact that I had that was 2 dots. I'm willing to sacrifice that for Haven security as well.
Okay.
make sure that we have that.
Okay.
So overall, we should have like a 2-dot.
2-dot size and 1-dot security.
Perfect. And then for the last dot, honestly, because Faust is this kind of person, I want to put that final dot into networking within the domain itself.
Okay, so that'd be
So
lane.
that'd be one dot lane.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I'm just making some notes.
Yep.
What is
So,
Null contributing?
Yes. So just to be clear, we are currently 1 dot influence east side, 2 dots haven, 1 dot haven security, 1 dot lane.
Correct.
Yeah, so it should put us to 2 dots lane, 1 dot chase, 1 dot portal lane.
Yep. 2 dots lane, 1 dot chase.
Is that how it works? Because I thought that the coterie dots go in at 0.
I'm gonna double check that because it's specific to domain. I'll double check that while you guys debate over the rest.
Right.
I will say that will actually inform where the default dot that I get goes. So
Okay.
I will wait for that.
Okay. What's a hooray
The
gonna be donating?
Coterie pool begins with 1 free dot per character player.
Yes.
Players may also attribute domain. Likewise, each dot of a domain trait costs 1 dot from the coterie pool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so no, apparently
Yeah,
that
you
just
start
gives
at
us
0.
1 dot lane.
Yep.
So for some odd reason, this sheet wants to default 1 across the board.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 1 dot lane.
All right. So
Fantastic.
now that that is sorted, what I'm going to do is I am going to put the dot that I get given on chase,
Okay.
1 dot chase, just for the simple fact of we don't have anything,
Yep.
but we at the very least we have enough to not have it be exceptionally difficult, like
Yes.
super difficult.
So that put
But it's still going to be quite hard.
right now that puts feeding rolls at 6 successes.
Yeah. And
Get good
I
at
am also going to give up my personal havens, haven library,
Okay.
1 dot library, to add it to the shared haven. So the shared haven now has a 1 dot library, and it's an occult library, specialty blood magic.
Oh.
That'll be interesting.
Okay.
For a hooray, I really don't know. She's somebody that generally tends to like to roam around a bit, and explore the environment around the area.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, what's Portillion do again?
That's the
security.
domain security.
Yeah.
How hard is it to penetrate your domain?
She'll probably put a dot into chase, I would say.
Okay.
And she won't be adding anything in the backgrounds.
Okay.
Now, there's a thing that I remembered that pops up here. Do we want to take any coterie flaws? Because it gives us extra dots to spend.
Yep.
But we all have to agree to take the flaw.
It's a 1-to-1 buy.
It's 1-to-1 buy.
So just to give you a little bit of a recap, you have so far, you have 2 dots in chase, 1 dot in lane, 0 dots in portalon, 1 dot in influence, and 4 total dots in Haven.
Yeah, that is correct.
So is there anything we want to take as far as flaws are concerned? Like, do we want to take any? Do we want to take enemies? Do we want to? We already had an adversary last
no,
time. Do we want to take enemies or anything?
no, there is one that I think works perfectly well. Hold on one second. Where is it? Sorry, I'm currently going through backgrounds right now, but there is one under status that I think suits this so well.
It's either suspect or shunned.
Suspect.
Suspect, which is the 1 dot version, right?
I think
Yeah.
I think
Sounds good to me.
it sounds perfect for what we are, and it plays to what we're talking. Long story short, you can stay out of sight and out of mind, but unless you somehow make amends, you suffer a 2 dice penalty to all social tests involving the offended faction. In which case, that's Anarch.
Yep.
I mean, I would say we could also take 2 dots shunned as a separate for Camarilla, but I don't think we'll be spotting much Camarilla in here, so...
That was
Unless
the
you
whole
unless you all make it a plot point.
Yeah. But as far as like flaws that are actively
That are
involved
immediate?
in the game that we
Yeah.
have, I would say suspect would be a good one.
Yeah.
All right, I agree to that.
It'll... Yep, I agree to that as well.
Same.
Okay.
Negates my status bonus for my law sheet, but that's all good. That actually helps.
Well, it means
Helps
that you actually have the best luck actually talking to people. But yeah, status flaw.
Yep. So that does mean you free that gives you a dot to spend on something. And as I said, there are enemy flaws, there are adversary flaws, there are Haven flaws.
I think right now that's all we really need. Just to play with to what we're
Right.
trying to do.
Right.
Unless you guys have something that's like this for what we're doing sounds absolutely obvious.
The only thing I could think of is a 1 dot is a creepy flaw for the Haven, but that'd be about it.
Well, it wouldn't really be relevant. I don't think so, anyways.
It would mean that any humans that come to your haven would be extremely uneasy.
Huh.
To the point of not wanting to be there.
Family.
Just remember, children, we're not bringing any guests over. Not until we clean up.
A blood stain is orange after you wash it 3 or 4 times in a tub, but that's normal, ain't it, Norman?
All right. So if we take suspect as a flaw, what would we add on into?
Yep, you have 1 dot to add to something.
I think if we're looking at that, right, to kind of just go through the whole thing, another thing that might be useful as a coterie bit, where is it? Sorry, I'm trying to end up finding a very specific one. I think we have a 1 dot retainer.
I was about to suggest the same thing.
Okay.
And who
Find
is...
this retainer. What's your idea, Derek?
Well, I think the idea is... I think we have somebody who is... I guess it depends on the theme you want to play with. Like, your underwhelming retainers are a child, a criminal lowlife, horror nerd who follows you around and does your bidding without a blood bond. Hi. Um, you know, so we can end thinking of a few different ones.
Derek qualifies as a
Um,
1-dot retainer.
This is so cool. Vampires actually exist.
No,
Oh my
I,
God. No clan coterie merit. Roden, we actually ended up taking clan coterie. There's a few of us who do have them, and I think
They're
that
applied
they
to
will
the
come
specific
in.
character, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're not actually
there
a
are.
coterie. They're just given as a benefit of me being in the coterie or whoever else is in the coterie. Sorry, I
Me
got
being in the coterie.
Yeah. Yeah. Flex.
Womp womp.
But I don't know. That's just an idea. But does anybody have an idea for what this retainer would be?
Or what they do for you.
1-dot retainer.
Groundskeeper. We
Yeah, we have a 2-dot haven. So yeah, groundskeeper, groundsman.
we exist in a more or less abandoned house. It's decent. It's of good size, just a little bit on the rundown side. It has decent security. Generally speaking, people don't want to go near it, or rather just feel uncomfortable doing so. The groundsman, the groundskeeper happens to come by and take care of the property on occasion, and has more or less accepted our presence there. Trying to determine the why of that. Maybe someone who has entertained kindred before. Maybe
That
Marjan.
or a hooray threatened to eat him.
Likely.
Too likely has.
For laughing at Derek's commentary.
I'm keeping it to a minimum.
His name is William.
That's great.
We call him Bill.
God.
I'm trying to accommodate you.
Oh.
So
Oh,
just
this is
thinking
great.
on as to the why, it is possible that he is slightly scared of us. Or he
Tell us
might be a
all
little
we
bit
can.
nefarious himself.
To be fair, I have a token and a character that would probably work pretty well for this.
Ooh. Okay.
Because I
how
already
about we
have
leave
them
it to ST's discretion?
Yeah.
I have him already created.
Half the joke being, why do we have him? I don't know. It just seemed like a good idea at the time. I don't know why he's here.
I think, okay, and this is going to be a wild one.
Shoot.
My primary idea has to do with Marjani, who cannot actually be there at all times to keep an eye on us. So, she has an informant. That would be our retainer. Not a very tough guy at all. He's probably a bit on the older end, what have you. But
He's kind of
he's
feeble.
He's there to help.
More actively, he's there to be the eyes and ears from Marjan. Okay, I like that.
And his
I
name
like
is
that.
Felix.
Felix.
Okay.
I like it.
And if you refresh your Roll20, you will see that the character sheet is there under everybody's names.
Okay. I am
Felix
refreshing.
Vargas.
I've accepted him.
Felix, you poor bastard.
Yep.
I'm scared on what I'm going to turn him into.
Oh, honey. Honey, I look forward to it.
Let's see.
Since this is a character I had not used previously.
Okay. I think that completes
Oh.
recreation.
Okay.
Rhodium says retainer equals someone for Maria to practice molding when she's bored.
Oh no! Marjani will kill you.
I'll put him back.
Better not fuck
Maria.
this up.
Maria over there making a little claymation.
All right. So, in the additional notes document, I have noted your coterie, your coterie dots, because this is what we bought at Coterie Creation, and I'll continue to update this as the coterie grows.
Nice.
Just so that everybody's on the same page and we're not having to really look at the coterie page much, because it's clunky and not everybody's actually matches up all the time.
I
Okay.
hate that page.
So
This is
Right.
this is just
I
a
love it if one person's responsible for it.
yes.
Yeah.
You want to make
But
changes?
there's-
I will make changes to this document. So there.
So the goal for this coterie is to make a hip what? To make a place for us.
To make
Yeah.
a space where they can exist and grow.
To make our own space. Okay. I do like the name though.
Yeah,
I don't know about you.
Iconoclasts. All right. So does that wrap up coterie creation then? Everybody's settled in to what they want.
I think so.
I believe so, yes.
All right. And just as a fair warning, everything on your sheet is fair game.
Mm-hmm.
Everything.
No.
Which means I will use it against you and I will use it for you.
All
I am
right.
prepared to bleed.
So,
No.
I hope so.
we're going to take a quick break. And then we're going to get into the introduction vignettes of our coterie members. Individual stories of how they came to San Antonio. Stay tuned, everyone, and get ready for the aftermath. Welcome back, everyone, to San Antonio by Night Aftermath. An introduction to Faust, our Ventru, who finds himself in a car, things quickly packed, such as clothing, personal belongings, really anything that could fit in the trunk of this car, with his mentor, Alistair Wolford, and Mr. Wolford's ghoul? Secretary? Delaney Voss. And it's just the three of them, driving on a busy highway, going south towards the city of Austin and ultimately to the city of San Antonio, where the two of them have been traveling for some time. And so, the car ride so far for the last hour or so has been very quiet. Mr. Wolford staring outside the rear passenger side window. Faust, you're next to him, and Delaney is driving. The air is thick. As if you can feel the tension from Mr. Wolford, the tension from Delaney. Though she keeps a smile on her face anytime she looks back at you in the rearview mirror.
It's been a most tumultuous and terrible week. Hurricane season. That's right. That's rather apt. Prince Warsi is much like a hurricane, an absolute force of nature. Cruel and unusual, yet so predictable, so anticipated. We lost everything. And so now, as refugees, we make our journey to a city that supposedly can defend against the cruelties of the Camarilla. Or at least the cruelties of their punishments. For what crime? A rumor, a suspicion, a suggestion. I look to Wolford. He's been silent. In fact, I doubt I'll ever hear him speak. Not of Eugene. Fuck. Eugene. I trace back around and I collect myself, my thoughts. I have to organize myself. I speak out, breaking this dreadful silence. Mr. Wolford.
Yes, Faust.
You said we will be meeting a contact of yours in San Antonio.
Yes.
This Baron Batista. How did you get in contact with her? What is your history, if you don't mind me asking?
It is a long-standing tradition amongst the Ventrue to assist someone in need of the same clan. And this was a dire circumstance, and she's someone that I've always had an eye on, young as she is. You don't
Yes,
you don't make a name for yourself in the anarch city of Texas without collecting semis from the other side.
I smirk. This favor, is it like crustacean? Or more so like the anarchs? How we barter boons and favors and whatnot.
A combination of both, I would think. It is both a formality and a business transaction.
I see.
And
what is it? Pardon.
and I am doing so at great expense. I mean, we've lost so much already. I have very little to provide, but she is willing, and that is the best I could hope for. For myself, anyway. You are welcome to stay with me, but eventually you will need to venture out on your own, and you will be required to build something of your own. I cannot harbor you forever.
I understand. Completely.
But that does not mean that I will not be around. I will still aid you when you need it. It is our way.
My life is yours, Mr. Wolfert. What you do for me has never fallen on deaf ears. Never.
I would hope not, and be careful with the words you say. Somebody might hold you to it.
All too true. And what is expected of me, then? A favor that you've garnered, such as this. I imagine I take part in this as well.
You are my grandchild, Faust. Don't you ever forget it. To build you up is to build myself. To rebuild myself.
Mr. Wolfert,
Yes.
we're undead. And this may be childish, perhaps, of a question, but do kindred resurrect?
From what Eugene suffered, no. You cannot be killed by mortal means. But left out in the sun, on display, crucified? No. There's no returning from that.
Why did he have to face that consequence? What does it prove?
And you
That
see,
an anarch is deserving of that cruelty?
and you see that for the first time since the car ride began, he shifts in his seat uncomfortably. Prince Warsi had declared that any and all tradition breaches, no matter how slight, were to be punished swiftly and efficiently. Any slight was grounds, and thus, while making it look as if the Camarilla was coming down on some terribly unruly kindred in their city, it's a facade. You've heard of the name Tyler, yes?
You've spoken of him. Her.
Her. She is a Bruja, accredited with creating the Anarch movement. And word of her coming to Dallas was enough to strike fear in the heart of a hardened Nosferatu prince. So what does that say about Tyler? Even just the name.
Inviolable power.
Yes.
Then an anarch is only as powerful as the movement they create.
Just like anything, the power of a name, the power of a story, is far greater than any fact in this world. Given the right amount of people praising it. The name Tyler was also sung high at the fall of Jackson. You can understand why Prince Warsi would have fears.
Truly.
A prince of similar age, if I recall correctly.
I see. So if anything, Marcy would understand, would know what Tyler has done.
Yes.
I can't see myself living this down. I will be honest.
You are also very young.
Where we're going, I hear many are young.
Many are also old. Who's to say? Truly. Nothing but whispers, so far as I know.
As is our way.
Yes. He gives a little bit of a smirk to you.
I smile back, though. It still holds the sullenness. I miss him already.
I know. He was like a father to you. And very much like a son to me. For all intents and purposes, he was my son. if such familial ties can be true.
I nod knowingly. I think back as I go quiet again. And I remember the shifting pools of black in the moonlight. How blood becomes nothing but inky death. And the differences of the clans are all too apparent. When they are raging, frenzying like beasts, all for the slaughter. I turn my head as far as I can towards the window. I know it doesn't hide myself. But just this once. I know you can't forgive yourself. Should you ever break your dignitas, Mr. Wolford. I think, all within my head, I know you can't. You weren't raised that way. But Eugene raised me. You will have to forgive my naive self. I'll cry for us both. I'm sorry I couldn't do more. I'm so sorry.
Alistair pulls you into a hug. Just kind of gently strokes your hair.
Blood trickles down. Oh god, my suit. Miss Voss, I'm sorry. I know you're busy at the moment trying to get through traffic, but if you could, I'd very much appreciate one of the tissues.
Of course, Mr. Beaufort. And she reaches into the glove box and pulls out a napkin and hands it to you.
I dry my eyes. The vitae smears. This is what ends look like. And this is what beginnings become.
And with that, we're going to take another quick break. And we will be back with another introduction vignette for San Antonio by Night's Aftermath. And welcome back, everyone, to introductions to our coterie members of San Antonio by Night Aftermath. Noel, it's been about a year since you've been in this city, you and Alia. The two of you have more or less stayed under the radar when it came to the city's baronies, and perhaps stayed out of it nearly just as much when the Camarilla came knocking on San Antonio's door. Alia fearing that perhaps the Camarilla was seeking to reabsorb the both of you, or coming for both of you, after the both of you had left Houston. She has called you to her personal library and wishes to discuss a few things with you.
Yes, I am curious as to what Alia might wish to discuss with me.
And so when you arrive to her haven meeting place, you're not entirely sure if she sleeps here or not, but you know that this is her library, at the very least. And she has an extensive collection, and she sits in a cute little chair with a lamp next to it, with a book in her lap. As you walk into the door. I was wondering when you would get here.
My apologies, I was caught up with some things. It's odd that you would call me in under circumstances such as these. What has your mind currently?
Rumors have come to my ears. Rumors of a Ventru coming from Dallas yet again.
Another one.
Yes. Supposedly he is anarch, I am not sure.
Well, in that one, we can only hope.
Yes, well, given that there has been some news coming out of Dallas, I wonder how many of them are going to be making their way here.
I suppose it's a question to be asked. What with the things that have happened over the past 12 months. I do hope that they're not silly enough to try again.
It's the Camarilla. Wouldn't they try again?
Possibly, but so soon?
After the defeat of one neonate. No, I think it's something much worse. I think, so far as I'm told, that Dallas is purging anyone who is not Camarilla. Or so the rumor goes, anyway.
Now that That is a rumor most curious.
What
If
did...
it's the truth, why would the Camarilla wish to purge anyone not Camarilla from Dallas? As
Insurrection?
far as
Simple
yes,
as
but
that.
to be so worried about a small insurrection, because from what I remember, the forces of the Anarchs in Dallas are not massive in number.
No. But there are stories. Stories that carry weight.
Stories. Why don't you enlighten me? I mean, you know what, you and I both know I love a good story.
Have a seat. And she gestures at
And
the chair next to the lamp on the other side.
no, nod and come to sit.
And she closes the book and drapes one leg over the other and looks at you. Have I ever told you the story of Tyler?
Tyler?
Yes. Ancients. Bruja.
I'm sure you've mentioned it at least once.
The creator of the Anarch movement.
Yeah, I recall the things that you've said about that.
Whispers all over South Texas have been stating that she may be coming, and that Dallas was on her list.
I see. So if the rumors are correct, they are frightened of an insurrection. An insurrection led by someone that they couldn't possibly stop.
What does it matter if it's true?
The words do damage on all their own. But if there's truth,
Supposedly she is responsible for the running of many cities. Many Camarilla cities. Bolstering the Anarchs, their resolve. Giving them strength when there may have been no hope. And hope is really the most powerful weapon.
it is. But it's just a curious little amusement to me that if they're purging because they're frightened. Frightened of an insurrection driven by a being of legend that may or may not be coming to the city.
At least that's what I've heard.
How interesting it is that a sect known for priding themselves on their stalwart nature would move to such paranoid measures on mere hearsay.
I doubt that it's actually something that evident. This is simply the Anarch perspective.
Well, if they have evidence of it, then
Well, if they have evidence, then that's evidence, and they would have quashed it. But no, I fear that this vent room might be a cancer.
more of the
More of the same.
a quiet mover rather than a loud second wave.
It's insidious. Meant to grow and flourish, much as the rest of the body, but ultimately kill it in the end. No, I fear that this is what is happening. I do not like so many coming here. We're bound to get noticed, Khalid.
We are. I'm guessing you wish to move to more active measures.
It might be time to really solidify our hold here. Not fly so under the radar. That is the term, yes?
It is. I suppose 12 months of going unnoticed is enough. I'll seek to begin integration immediately.
Baron Jameson has suffered many losses as a result of the Camarilla. Oh, there's the bat, for that matter. He's looking for people. Shall you and I join him?
Yes, I think in that instance, that will be our in.
You will not be liked. I will not be liked.
No, I'm sure as soon as we go to the Baron and ask him, offer our services to him, every eye in the domain that he controls, including his own, will fall upon us with suspect.
We are children of Hakim. Cancers from the Camarilla. Wouldn't you be suspect as well?
It would be foolish not to be.
Then you have a lot to prove. I have a lot to prove. Prove that we are not Camarilla. We are Ashira. It's very different.
Markedly different. We have a lot of work ahead of us. Best to start.
And you have been studying very much, yes?
Every spare moment.
You will one day make a very powerful sorcerer.
In the end, I would like to call that the plan.
Truly a
Exalt
child.
yourself.
Truly a child of
Exalt.
mine.
What can I say? I learned from the best.
You flatter me.
Then I shall begin making the requisite contacts to get us in touch.
As will I. I have no doubt at all, that he will have to say yes.
I think he's a little bit too hamstrung at the moment not to.
Agreed. Is there something you need of me, my child?
Not that I can think of at this stage. I sense, though, that I am likely to be put with some kind of coterie.
That's usually how these things work. Nothing so formal as the Camarilla, obviously.
No, but it might be a thing that I need to come to you about for advice. They could stick me with just anyone.
And they likely will. But I will keep an eye on this Ventru coming from Dallas. But if he's bringing anyone else with him, then I would like you to be my eyes.
Understood.
I do not want what we have here to be ruined. Not when we've come so far.
Then I will make sure that it isn't ruined. By whatever means may become necessary.
And this is what I like about you. My beautiful Khalid.
There's a smile that graces Noel's face. Maybe one of a bit of sentiment. Then there is much to be done, and I shall get to work immediately.
Perfect. And it is with that we will conclude Noel's introduction and continue to meet our lovely Iconoclasts. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back, everyone, to San Antonio by Night Aftermath, where we look at the new beginnings of our coterie, the Iconoclasts. The scene is in the Camarilla city of Brisbane, in Australia. Ahura, the gangrel, and her sire, Alice Smith, are in the back of a car, a limo, with who could only be described as the most terrifying person in all of Brisbane sitting across from them, his arms folded, staring at the both of you. Just watching you. Alice has her own arms folded, staring back at him, occasionally darting her eyes toward you or Hooray. But you both know what's about to happen. You're being dragged to Elysium in front of Prince Maylin.
Ray kind of shuffles a little closer to Alice in the seat. Her eyes are locked on Sheriff Trudeau. This is not good. It's not good. She's never been caught before. She's not liking this. Not one bit. Everything is still so fresh. She's still figuring out where she stands in all this. What's gonna happen, Alice?
Well, if the traditions serve right, we're going before the prince to be judged. You see that Tredor's eyes don't leave Alice's face.
Judged? For what? Extending life?
For making you.
Seems dumb. Seems so stupid.
Sheriff Tredor speaks up. Stupid, you say.
Yeah, stupid.
You have a lot to learn. Should the prince be merciful?
And what are you?
What am I?
The muscle?
The enforcer of the law. The law that your prince has established.
My prince.
Your prince. All of our prince. You, for the moment, are still a member of this court. And should Prince Maylin feel merciful and gracious enough to allow you to live, then you will be expected to abide by those laws yourself, unlike your sire.
She shifts her body weight slightly,
Tredor's
setting her
eyes.
shoulder a little bit in front of Alice, almost
Tredor,
as if she wants to protect her.
Tredor's eyes lock on you, half expecting you to frenzy right now.
She just stares straight back, unflinching.
He's right, Ray.
Her lips... What do you mean he's right?
I'm a criminal. It only makes sense that I serve a sentence. Right? Sheriff Tredor. And the sheriff just nods slowly.
A sentence.
Because it is a crime to the Camarilla to bring in someone who hasn't been given permission. I wasn't given permission to create a child, and thus I'm being punished for it.
Permission. You need permission.
Yep.
I don't like this, Alice.
You don't have to like it. I couldn't stand to lose you. So I did it anyway. Knowing full well that it could bite me in the ass. I know what I did. And Prince Maylin's been merciful in the past, so who's to say? At least give you a fighting chance.
Me.
Yeah, you.
Do you regret it?
Never.
Good.
It's a very interesting sentiment, Miss Smith. That you would throw away what you've created here for yourself for a girl. And I would do it all over again if I fucking had the chance. If it meant that I got to keep her.
Ray grins. And rests her head on the side of Alice's shoulder. But her eyes don't leave the sheriff. Not for a moment.
The rest of the ride from your haven to the Elysium is quiet. Deathly quiet. As if corpses were staring at each other. Unmoving, unblinking, unbreathing. Statues in a car. But eventually, the car stops in front of a building you're not familiar with. And the two of you, with escorts and the sheriff, are brought into this building, where you see a number of people have gathered. A large number, in fact. You count 30 heads, maybe more. But the one that you lock eyes with when you enter the building is the woman sitting on a throne, a leg crossed, her chin on a fist as she's leaning to one side, as she watches as the sheriff brings you and Alice before her. And the sheriff says, "My prince, I have discovered that there has been a breach of the tradition of progeny amongst the gangrel, and that this Alice Smith has brought into this world this woman." And he points to you. He doesn't even say your name. Did he ask for it? You don't even know.
Not that I really care if he asked for my name. All I care about at the moment is Alice. I don't like all these eyes. Too many eyes.
All of them are on you.
She takes a step closer to Alice, making their shoulders touch. She's ready to move if she has to. Ready to fight if she has to.
You see the prince lift her chin off of her fist, slowly lowering it down to her lap, straightening up. "A breach of the tradition of progeny, you say, Sheriff Tredor?" "Yes, my prince. Tradition of progeny. It seems like there are quite a number of people in this city who do not take our tradition seriously. This is a serious offense, Alice Smith. What do you have to say for yourself?" And Alex kind of stands up straight, kind of walking a step in front of you. "I have no plea, my prince. I have nothing to say for myself except that Ahura is my child. So, that's it. The prince nods. She looks to the rest of the court. You all acknowledge me as your prince. But it seems that many of my constituents, and I say it again, have tossed aside the traditions, and I will not abide it any longer. Anyone caught breaking them again will meet final death. Is that understood? And you see many in the court nod or don't show any kind of emotion or reaction at all. And the sheriff goes to Alice, and you see that he takes her by the arm.
Don't you touch her!
It's okay, Ray.
It's not okay, Alice. What are they gonna do to you?
I suppose we'll find out. And the sheriff begins to pull her away from you, and the prince looks at Sheriff Tredor and says, "I want them both put to final death." And you see a girl with white hair come out from somewhere. You're not sure where she came from. And say, "My prince, perhaps we should show the girl mercy. She has done nothing wrong, only her sire. But I can also see that there's a fire in her. Perhaps she will be a good asset for what's to come." And the prince looks at the girl and just sits. And Sheriff Tredor, as if knowing what the prince was thinking, just takes Alice away.
Ahura just looks confused. She looks like she's going to move to follow Alice.
And your escorts immediately grab your arms and keep you in place.
Let me go.
You try to struggle against them and you can't budge them. They won't move.
Let me go! Alice!
It's gonna be okay. Be strong. And you see that Sheriff Tredor brandishes a sword and swiftly removes her head from her shoulders. Alice.
Ahura goes still and just watches it.
Into Alice's body, her headless body, crumples in a splash of vitae. And then quickly her body starts to disintegrate, turning into nothing but a pool of ash and bone and blood. And it's almost as if it just evaporates away.
She just stares at that spot, feeling anger, rage, hatred. What right? What right do these people have to take her? Permission.
And it's almost as if your body acts on its own, and you start to flail against your escorts, but they quickly put you to the ground and stake you. And the prince stands tall and says, "Let it not be said that I am not a merciful prince. She will go back to the gangrel, and she will learn what it means to be Camarilla. She will be leashed." And you see nods across the court. And someone from the crowd comes toward you. The rest of it's kind of fuzzy. You don't recall exactly what else happens. But you awaken someone else's care. Someone you don't know. Another gangrel, maybe? You didn't really catch their name. Not before you hopped on the first exit of Brisbane that you could possibly find. There was a lot of commotion. Lots of busybodies. Lots of busy working. It's almost as if no one noticed you leave. You made your way across the ocean from Australia to the United States, wandering for about a year, until you find yourself in an anarch city in the south of Texas. Vowing that maybe one day Prince Maylin will eat dust for what she did. And that is where we're going to end. Oh, go ahead.
No, go. Go, go, go.
I was just going to say that is where we're going to leave a hooray for now, as we continue the introductions to San Antonio by Night Aftermath. Be right back, everyone. Welcome back, everyone, to San Antonio by Night Aftermath. The introductions to the Iconoclasts. It's a strange night. It's the middle of October. The air is chilly, and there is a tension in the air in the midst of nowhere. We find a woman, not much more than a girl, digging. Digging deeper and deeper and deeper. Sobbing into her shirt as she's coming to the realization that she is digging her own grave. There's a monster behind you. An actual monster. Something out of nightmares. Something horrific. It's slimy. It's bug-like. It's tentacled. It's like nothing you have ever seen before. And when you look up at your captor, you're mortified. Every time you look at it, you get still, but then that snarl and the wiggling of those tentacles just remind you that this thing is watching you. It calls itself Veronica. But that's not a human, that's a beast. Long, spindly arms and mangled features. But you keep digging. You keep digging, hoping that there's some kind of mercy in this thing.
It's, there's something horrific about this. Just I'm digging so deep with my bare hands that I'm almost ripping my own nails out. No one's coming. Ain't no one's coming. I don't know what the hell's going on. Oh, I feel so weak. And this thing, this ungodly thing, it's just a hug. I swear. This thing's just lurking over me. The dirt is clawing into my hands. It's in my hair. I'm looking up at the hole, digging for hours. My arms just refuse to move. I'm just shifting my shoulder to move dirt. How long have I been at this? It's been... This gotta be some kind of mistake. Oh... What did I do? What did I do for this? It hurts to swallow. mouth is dry. My throat hurts from all the screaming. I know that no one's coming. As I feel nails hit the rock and lift from the skin. I can't even bring myself to scream.
That's enough. Come here.
I don't have much in me. I'm trying to raise myself. My knees won't work. Can't bring myself to look at it. It's just crawling to a voice. This thing's the devil. It sweats.
And you make your way towards the edge of this 4-foot grave. And when you make your way to the edge, this thing reaches out a hand and grabs you by your shirt and lifts you out of the hole. Clawed hands.
God, just let me go. Just let me go.
No, 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 no. No, 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 no. You're meant for so much more.
Jesus, save me.
Now let's see if you have what it takes. And you feel fangs, sharp teeth dig into your neck. And you feel euphoric? As if this thing, this horrible thing, this hideous thing is causing you pleasure. You try to wiggle away from it, but it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming, and you start to feel lightheaded. And that's when you realize this thing is going to kill you. It's going to kill you with pleasure.
I can feel it, I can feel the heart. My heart slowing. It was beating so fast before. There's so much hurt. And then it turned into this. Oh God, I'm gonna die here. I'm gonna die here.
You squirm to try and get out of its grip because you can feel it. That instinct, that natural born drive to try and preserve your own life, but you can't. You don't have the strength. And your eyes flutter shut. And when you come to, this thing has its arm in your mouth. And you have fangs digging into this thing. Starving. You're starving. You're hungry. And you lap at every drop that's coming out of this thing. It tastes delicious. But the arm is ripped away from you. And you're shoved into the hole. And without much hesitation, dirt is being shoveled on top of you.
Oh. No.
All of it. All of the dirt that you shoveled out of this hole, it's being shoved right back in. Right back in.
I try to scream. It's a little more than a small tone before dirt suddenly ends up spilling over me. It fills my mouth, my nostrils. My hand reaches out and I can feel it buried right up to my elbow. I try and clamp down and drag myself out when the next batch ends up falling on me. I find myself pinned. Can't breathe. I can't breathe. Not down here. Please no. Please no.
And the dirt is shoveled over and over, and the weight of it is just crushing you. Crushing you more and more until whatever air was in your lungs is deflated. Are you going to die again? But you don't. You lay there. You don't breathe. You're just stuck. You panic. You try to move, but you can hardly move a millimeter before the dirt fills in where you moved. You're trying to gather up all of your strength. It doesn't hurt nearly as much anymore, that shoulder. But at the same time, as the hours go by, you can feel yourself starting to starve.
I don't know what this is. Trapped under the dirt. Push, trying to move in anything. There's no room to move. Hundreds upon hundreds, maybe thousands of pounds crushing my chest. I think I can't even close my eyes. I am staring at dark, feeling the grit press against my own eyes. Try and push. Try and claw in some way. Just trying to get my fingers to move just a little bit. Give me something to move. God, something give me out.
And how long has it been? Hours? Days? You're not sure. Because when you finally breach Earth, you clamber, and oh, thank God it's the night, because you could feel the warmth in the dirt during the day, and it was terrifying. Terrifying so much so that even though you were trapped by dirt, you would flail. Locking yourself in for those so many hours. But finally calming down once the dirt had started to cool. Thankfully it was cool when you breached, and so you climb out of the dirt.
My body feels so goddamn heavy. Birthed from the womb of Earth. Clawing my way out. I try and draw in breath, but it just doesn't come. I'm moving. I'm alive. I look around frantically. Oh God, is that thing still here? Oh, God,
Don't move.
why am I hungry? I'll stop.
Don't move.
What's happened to me? What's happened to me? Somebody turned to face the voice.
And that hunger in your gut is just deep and insatiable. And the first thought going through your mind is you want to rip this person to shreds and take them for all they're worth.
I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry. I want to end up putting it in my mouth into their throat and bleed them.
Same way
Bleed
that
'em
that
slow.
thing. Same
Gorge
way.
on them till I'm fat as a tick.
You the instinct takes over. But they must have found something. They stabbed you. You're paralyzed. Marjani! And you see a pair of girls? They're approaching. The one, the redheaded, she's injured. She's beaten, she's bruised. And you see the body of a man being carried by the one with dreads? You're not sure. But you can't move.
I'm trying to force my eyes to move, to look at them, plead with them. Nothing moves, nothing works. It's like being trapped in the earth all over again, but now I'm watching it. Oh God, what did they do to me?
You see the woman with braids in her hair kind of lean over you, looking at you, noticing that you're still battered. Alright. Skylar, we need to get out of here. There may be more of them. And you see that the first person that you saw nods and collects you. Takes you over their shoulder. And over the course of maybe an hour, they take you someplace and bring down a person? And when they remove whatever they stabbed you with, you can move again. But again, you still want to rip into something's throat, and so you lunge for it. You lunge for this person. You sink your teeth deep and start to gorge yourself again.
God. I don't know what's come over me. I feel it inside, but when I lunge upon the person, God, do I even look at their face? I end up looking at. I'm just so hungry. And when I end up sinking fang into flesh, it's a taste of the divine. This is. I could taste it.
Everything just feels right. But before you could gorge yourself to full, you feel sated, but you're not full. You're nowhere near full. They rip you away, and this person crumples into a heap, and the redheaded girl takes that person back up the stairs and somewhere else. You don't know. And you're left with those two women.
Oh God. I place my hand to my own lips and I can see it stained with the man's blood. Oh Lord. What have I done? What did I just do? I see these two in there. I've nothing but confusion. 1,000 questions run through my mind at once. And it hurts.
You good? Says the girl with braids.
No. No, I'm, who are you people?
Name's Mahjani. This here's Skylar. Who are you?
Look down my chest. Still seeing the hole in it. I'm putting the fingers through my own ribs. Oh God.
And the woman with braids who announced herself as Marjani kneels in front of you and places her hands on the side of your face and forces you to look at her.
Please don't more. I didn't deserve that.
Alright. We'll figure this out. What's your name?
Maria Higgs.
Pleasure to meet you, Maria.
What did I just do?
It's gonna sound
God.
weird. But you're gonna... It's gonna sound weird. And you're not gonna believe any of it. Because nobody does. But you're a vampire.
What else you say? Feeling my own fangs in my mouth. Oh God, these are my teeth.
Yeah?
And I just killed me a man.
Not so far as I can tell.
What is happening? What's going on?
Based on how you rose up out of that grave, you got a lot of explaining to do.
Grave? Oh God, they made me big.
Yep. They do that.
They?
Yep. You ain't the first one we've seen.
Oh, God. Lord,
Who did this to you?
it was something, I don't know. Looked like it was, it had insect and octopus parts. It was, called himself, wrong, I think. I don't know.
Oh, fuck.
What do you mean, oh, fuck?
You see that Marjani turns back to Skylar. The Baron's gonna want to know about this.
What the fuck is a baron?
You're gonna find out, because you're gonna meet him. And Skylar nods and walks up the stairs of from the basement. But for now, you're gonna sit here and you're gonna calm down.
Miss Majani, I currently have a hole in my chest. I have man's blood on my lips and my hands.
Yeah,
I
it's gonna take a little getting used to, but that's how things are. And quite honestly, I don't know what's gonna happen. So, if you want to be presentable, maybe you can patch yourself up. Just think about it.
catch myself. Oh, for fuck's sake.
And for a little bit of time, Marjani coaches you through such things, bringing you to a point where you look somewhat decent. But ultimately, the following night, you're brought to a pub where you see a group of people. Two men across the way playing pool, and you're being brought with the redheaded girl, who you learn her name is Samantha, Skylar, and Marjani. And when they see that you're being brought in, the two men playing pool stop what they're doing and walk towards the group. And you see he's a grizzled man, kind of older looking. This man who stands tall. And Marjani walks up to him and says, "She's from one of the attackers. Thought you might want to know." And you see the man kind of nod to her and kind of approach you.
I'm definitely nervous. Everybody else acting like this is just business as usual. Like, what I did was goddamn normal. Nah, this ain't how. Oh, God. What's next? I turn and look to the other three. Skylar, Shani, Mantha. And then I gotta turn back to these two. These two guys just playing poop like as if everything's normal.
What's your name, kid? Says the man.
Maria Hicks.
Maria Hicks.
Yeah.
Victor Jameson.
Thank you very much, Vic. Appreciate the hospitality. I have to admit, this whole thing don't make a lick of sense.
Nope. Nope, it does not. So, why don't we all go on back? And he gestures towards the back of the bar, and all of you kind of pile in through the bar, through a hallway, into a room. A break room? It's got folding chairs, a table, a vending machine? And you see Victor sit down in one of the seats and kind of cross his legs in his arms. And he gestures for you to sit down too.
I'll sit, looking at Vic. I'm not gonna lie to you, Vic. Right now, this whole situation, I don't know whether to check my ass or scratch my watch.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of your kind is being paraded through the city.
What do you mean, my kind?
Your kind. The kind that come out of graves.
Oh, so this is a regular occurrence then. So relieved to end up hearing that I am speaking amongst a bunch of experienced individuals right now.
You mean to tell me that you don't know what it is that did that to you?
If I had to guess,
I'm not sure that I
over there,
like...
Mahjani said vampire, but that doesn't look like nothing out of no movie that I've ever seen.
They come in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah, well,
Everybody in this goddamn room is a vampire.
you gotta be kidding me. What I end up seeing, it'd make a freight train take a dirt road. That's what I end up seeing.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Been seeing that one a couple of times, but she's gone and disappeared.
So you tell me you all look like that, really?
No.
Kind of freak.
No. No. That one's a special kind. Special kind that's been relentlessly giving me a very, very hard time. So, Miss Higgs, give me something I can work with.
Give me something you can work with. Vic, I'm sorry to end up telling you, but
Baron. Baron Jameson.
Baron Jameson. I don't know what more I can end up telling you. I drag out in the middle of nowhere. I dig that hole with my own hands.
Yeah, that's definitely their MO. He looks to Marjani.
I was, it brought me up just long enough to kill me. Then I don't know.
Then you woke up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crawling out of the earth when these three ran into me. I don't know what's going on here, sir.
And Marjani kind of pipes up. She was awful suspiciously close to where we found Samantha here. I don't think she doesn't know nothing. I think she knows. She's gotta know something, Baron. Because I want to make that bitch pay. And Samantha just looks to Marjani and a little nervously, but then looks back to the rest. And Skylar nods, and Baron Jameson kind of leans back in his chair. Oh, believe me, I want to make that bitch pay too. You have definitely got my support in that. So Maria.
Yeah.
What did she look like?
Look like something out of a... I don't know. If I might end up using vulgar language. Look like some combination of a honeybee deciding to get it on with an octopus.
Yeah, she's gonna change shape again. Fucking Christ, Dimitri.
What?
It's not important. You're not gonna be around long enough to really care anyway.
Baron, please. Please don't. What more can I have given? What do I need to do? Come on, I can't like this. Oh, please. Starts looking around. One out of the grave. Now they're talking about putting her back in one.
Marchand, you can see that Skylar is shaking their head rigorously. No, we need to make them pay. We need to send an example. We need to make them pay.
Make who pay?
You see Skylar snarl and get in your face. The Sabbat! Spot filth. That's what you are. That's what you are.
I don't know what that means.
They killed Diego, and they need to pay. And you see that the man with the beard starts to approach Skylar. Kind of cautiously, but confidently. And you can see the Baron looks at Skylar and just gives a look. And Skylar makes their way out of the room. You hear Samantha finally pipe up. Look, Baron, She doesn't know anything. Isn't it obvious? She doesn't know anything. The girl is traumatized. We were all in that position at one point, weren't we? Not knowing what we were? The Baron just... You can almost see that he's thinking about what she's saying. Alright. Alright. Maria, is it?
Yes, Mr. Baron Jameson. Sir.
What do you do?
You mean before the whole?
Yeah.
I did plan and Vance. I served a lot of time orchestrating neighborhood festivities. I planned around them. Fun stuff for the kids like Halloween and Christmas. I, I, I'm an organizer.
Marjani kind of pipes up and says, we don't need no fucking neighborhood barbecue organizer. We don't need no shit. Samantha pipes up again. No. No, I think we can use this. Girl, what you know? I know things about event planning and it pays to have someone like that when you're trying to organize people. Aren't we trying to organize people against the bigger threat here? What's one group of Sabbat gonna do when the Camarilla's on our door?
Camarilla.
And you see that Jameson kind of relaxes a little bit. Alright. You're the one vouched for. You're the one in charge of her. Me? Yeah, you. It's your fucking responsibility now, Samantha. Get used to it. Holy shit.
I kind of look to her, raise a brow, I have no idea what the hell this is going on. Something's going on between these five that I don't fully understand. That's plain as day. But now she seems to be my only damn hope.
Samantha looks over to Marjani. They can have a section of what I use. She can have a section of that. That should be fine, right? Feeding rights? Feeding ground? You're making a lot of damn noise for a baby, Samantha. Marjani, please.
Whatever needs to be done. I mean,
we can at least give her a shot, right?
that's all I ask. Come on now. Ain't no needing to end up going at you further than this. Hasn't been enough. What was it? Skylar already lost somebody. Why we gotta end up doing one more?
You see Marjana should have glanced over to the Baron and kind of relaxed a little bit. Fine. But you get out of line, you'll mind.
I understand. Just
She's not gonna get out of line, Marjani. Right?
no. I have no intention of that. I don't intend for any of this.
Then Maria's gonna need a coterie. And Samantha pipes up, I'll set one up. Good.
Coterie. Oh, what's... God, I have so many questions.
And there's only gonna be more, Samantha says. And she reaches out for your hand to take it.
I take that hand. I squeeze so tight. This is my only lifeline. Scared out of my wits here. And I don't know where else to turn. And I currently got what do they call it? A baby? Baby's fighting for me. Oh, jeez.
And she leads you out of the break room, out towards the outside, towards her vehicle. Holy fucking shit.
Yeah. What the hell was that all about?
Welcome to the afterlife. It's a living hell.
I'm getting that impression, yeah. Oh, gee. What do I even do?
Just be useful. Don't cause trouble. And I suppose I'm gonna be the one telling you how to stay out of trouble.
Between the numbers 1 and totally, exactly how fucked are we?
Royally. 'Cause I didn't think that they were gonna go for that. But believe me when I say they're not gonna let anything slide. Nothing. You look at someone the wrong way and you're done. And I've lost a lot of people like that. So you're basically making this up to me.
Samantha, not my intention. I should be...
Then we'll get along just fine. Let me show you where you're gonna live. And she starts the car and begins to drive off out towards the east side of town.
Rest my head against the window. Watching the world pass me by, and I'm watching it as though it's the first time. It's familiar streets with Names I know, but it's like I've never seen them before. Every shadow's darker. Neon lights brighter. I swear to God, I can watch them flicker. A million flickers a second. I don't know what this world is, or what the hell I just got dragged into. Right now, the only one who even gave me a fighting fucking chance. Driving me off to God knows where. I've got a bunch of fucking vampires who want me dead. They don't want me dead and do nothing. What did I do? What did I do?
As you watch the city go by, San Antonio, Texas, the Alamo City, center of Bexar County. The story thus far, in recent decades, San Antonio has seen an influx of new blood, quickly becoming known as a haven city for anarchs, be they fleeing from their own personal hell or looking for a new opportunity. And as the city grows in population, both kind and kindred, so does the ever-present threat of the Second Inquisition, with military bases encased within the city's limits. Each and every anarch in the city must guard the masquerade, the only tradition worth its salt, and the only tradition enforced. Breaking the masquerade is ground for instant termination of existence. Kyle A. Calhoun, a descendant of Prince Marius Calhoun of Jackson, the would-be fledgling prince, campaigned to bring San Antonio anarchs to their knees a year ago. Rumors say Calhoun was out for personal revenge against the anarchs responsible for his prince's death, and wished to declare his own praxis on the city to claim it as his own in some foolhardy effort to bring himself status among the tower. But before any official declaration of claim could be brought against the city, Kyle A. Calhoun's campaign and the sorry excuse for Aventru were ended. In the aftermath of this campaign, the remaining Camarilla who had infiltrated the city retreated, or were destroyed by the barons of the Alamo City. While Calhoun and his muscle had been dispatched individually, the last remaining member of Calhoun's court, the traitor Ashley Sanderson, was brought before the barons of San Antonio, staked and ripped asunder. Baron Jameson, Batista, and the newly appointed Velda von Drentgals-Altenburg sentenced Sanderson to final death by daylight, and hung him from the Tower of the Americas shortly before sunrise, so that his body may melt away into ash and be scattered to the wind. They declared that anyone seen removing him, would also be given a traitor's death. Not a single kindred shed a bloody tear for the Toreador's destruction. The anarchs of the city suffered losses during this conflict. Among those were Baron D'Antonio Delgado, grandsire to Baron von Drentgals-Altenburg, whose dream of creating a haven city in San Antonio had only recently been realized. To honor his memory, a memorial was built, masquerade safe, of course, and is currently maintained by Amber Dupree at Silverhorn Golf Club on the north side of the city. Deep in the club grounds, far off the course trail, a small set of graves were erected for those who fell during the Camarilla's campaign to ravage the city. Urian Doyle served as Warpheim Baron upon Delgado's death, but it was rumored that he suffered grievous injury during a push on the Camarilla's taken ground and hasn't been seen or heard from since. Whether he went to ground to recover from his injuries or suffered injuries too grievous he was overcome, or whether he operates in the shadows of the city, remains unclear. Regardless, the city will never forget the valiant efforts of him and his domain in defending the city. A year later, the city is starting to recover from this affair. Some of the city's domains have changed hands, and anarchs from the surrounding cities began to make their way towards San Antonio for their piece of a larger pie. Some familiar faces still remain, and many new faces continue to arrive. And with this chronicle, we will be following a coterie on the fringes of Baron Jameson's domain. The pain of invasion is still being felt amongst these undead souls, but perhaps there is hope that those wounded will heal. Come along as we witness the aftermath of the invasion of San Antonio. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We will be back next week for Session 1, the official start of Aftermath. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Have a good evening.
Good night.